The reigning, undisputed, defending national champions are on the ropes. I'm Dylan Hildreth. This is the Dylan Hildreth Show. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much. Now, back into business. Yes, I do believe that Georgia is in serious, major trouble, and they have to make a decision very quickly, as in yesterday. And it all stems from the one spot that Georgia has never been able to get right since Kirby Smart's arrival, and that's the quarterback position. As I was watching the game, the Georgia-Missouri game, the commentator said, yeah, we were wondering if he was going to be a game manager or put the game on his shoulders. And we clearly see that he can put the game on his shoulders. When? Put the game on his shoulders against Alabama in 2020. That didn't go well. Had to put the game on his shoulders against Florida. That didn't go well. Went so bad that JT Daniels got his shot. Had to put the game on JT Daniels' shoulders in the Peach Bowl against Cincinnati, and it worked. And then he gets hurt against Clemson. Then it comes back. And had to put the game on Stetson Bennett's shoulders in the SEC title game against Alabama. That did not go well. And it wasn't going well in the national title game up until Jameson Williams tore his ACL. And as many of you know, I'm a Dogs fan. I love Georgia. But my goodness, let's have some realization here. Injuries do happen, and yes, you do take advantage of it. But the reality of the situation is the defense, the running game, and ACLs of John Mechie, Jameson Williams, won Georgia the national title. When you are winning in spite of a quarterback, not because of a quarterback, that will catch up to you. And it has caught up to Georgia a few times. And more than likely, it's going to happen. And teams are catching up quickly. I mean, you have, this is the perfect time. This is the latest time that you can make this change and should not really miss a beat when it comes to the important games. The next 2 weeks, Georgia has Auburn and Vanderbilt. You can get by without having a very inexperienced quarterback. But when it comes to, and then you got a bye week after Vandy and Auburn. But after that bye week, that's when we get to the meat of the schedule. And that is where the biting of the rear end comes. With Florida, who has a tremendous quarterback. And if the defense is unable to stop, Anthony Richardson, and Stenson's going to have to run with Bennett or Richardson, it's going to end horribly. We've seen it time and time and time again. How many times does Kirby have to get burned by a very limited quarterback to know we need to be playing a quarterback that is not as limited? Carson Beck, Brock Vandergriff. Wasting these guys' eligibility. It's time to use one of them. You cannot tell me that Brock Vandergriff and Carson Beck are not as good or would not fare so much better in this offense than Stetson Bennett. This team around, this Georgia team, especially on offense, is loaded with weapons. And quite frankly, I'm scared to death that this team is going to end up wasted because Kirby Smart is way too loyal to a below average quarterback. And, I mean, all you have to do is look at the box score with Kent State. He got outplayed. He got outplayed by Kent State's quarterback against a far better defense than what Stetson was going up against. Missouri bullied Georgia for most of that game. By the grace of God, Georgia was able to fight back, and even on those comeback drives, throws were not accurate. You saw time and time again on these short routes, receivers had to go up and get it. This is what? His 27th year in college? You can't be throwing that inaccurate that closely as a quarterback of an SEC powerhouse, especially a budding dynasty waiting to happen. A change has to be made, or else it's going to go very sideways. Florida, again, if Bennett's going to have to run with Anthony Richardson, it's not going to end well. Tennessee with Henderson, I believe his quarterback's name. That's not going to end well if Bennett has to run with them. Mississippi State, with that high-powered offense, with Mike Leach, Bennett's going to have to run with that too, and that's not going to end well. In Kentucky, and by the way, Mississippi State and Kentucky, it's at Starkville and in Lexington. We just saw how they played on the road against a squad that is not nearly as good as Mississippi State or Kentucky. But every team has their downfalls and struggles. You don't struggle against a low average MAC team through Georgia. You don't. You shouldn't be struggling against Missouri. Now, if Missouri was a one-off, okay, that's fine. It happens. We're at 2 games in a row now. And, I mean, thankfully for Georgia, got a few doormats than a bye week. But reality's coming knocking. And when it hits you, reality's going to hit you pretty freaking hard. Because the way that they have played the last 2 weeks, that's losing 4 of the last 5. And that's trouble. That is massive trouble. So, and I know Kirby's not going to pull Stetson. And I still don't understand why. We know what we're getting out of Stetson. And At this point, buckle up and grab a helmet because it's going to be one horrific crash. I'm Dylan Hildreth. This is the Dylan Hildreth Show. And I'll see you next time.